In this video, we're going to learn how to build a graphic legend. So a graphic legend is used in the construction document and the drafting world, and it is going to show you a graphic that you have in the plan and then provide an explanation for what that graphic is representing. So here within our floor plan right now, we have three different example materials. And we have a floor that is a VCT on concrete, so it looks like a 12 by 12 square pattern there. We have carpet with our typical sand pattern, and then we have a wood floor here with a parallel line pattern. So to create a graphic pattern for that, we have our floor plan on the sheet, but we're going to make a separate view for that legend. So you're going to go to your View tab and to your Legends, drop down, and you're just going to click on the top one here on Legend. I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. And you can name it whatever you would like. This is typically how I would start naming it. Now the important thing here is you want to make sure that the scale of your graphic legend matches the scale of your view. And I did just change this one when I put on the sheet, so I do know that that is 1/4 inch. But you can always check that or change it afterwards, but that's kind of a good trick, is to make sure the scale matches the scale of your view. Because then it doesn't matter if you use a model pattern or a drafting pattern, either way the scale is going to be accurate and the patterns will look the same, and you won't have one that's oversized or undersized compared to the other. So I'll go ahead and say OK here. And then I like to start out with the detail line here. Use a detail line as the header, but it's kind of hard to gauge where you're at in the graphic legend. It's kind of just like a white piece of paper. So I put in the graphic legend, then I go back to my sheet, and then I pull on the legend here. And that way I can see, and you can see based on that scale, that 12 feet really isn't that much. So now that I have it here on the sheet, it's easier to scale that or to get an idea of what size I might want that line to be. So then I can put in text. I can move that down. And then for my graphic legends, let's go ahead and get rid of this view title as well. So there are different viewports. Right now we just have the default of viewport 1, but if I go to my edit type and I duplicate, I'm just going to call that no title, and here where it says show title, I'm going to turn that off. And what that is going to do is actually hide the title there, so you don't have that pesky view title anymore. We actually just turn that off. Alright, so that's now a different viewport type. Once you've created it, you can use it on other sheets. You just have to make it once and you can use it throughout the project. So let's go back into our view, double click, go to my filled region command, and I'm just going to draw a small sample here. And I'll finish that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to match the pattern to the pattern that is in my material. So let's see if we have anything here already. I know I have carpet, so it doesn't look like I have sand. Let's see if vertical lines. Nope, that's not close to the wood at all. So it looks like we're going to be making all three of these. So I'll go to my edit type and I'll duplicate. And I'll create a new filled region and I'll change that pattern type. So you can go with sand or sand dense. You just want to make sure you match whatever is in the model here. That looks good. So we have then our carpet. So then I'll take another piece of text here. And that text is pretty large. I want to make sure that's smaller. So let's switch that to, it would be an 1/8 inch. So we can duplicate that. Make a new type here, which we already know how to do. Change the size. Alright, and then we have our carpet. Alright, so I can select both of those and copy those down. Oh, or not. Looks like I only got one, but that's okay. I can select the other. And I'll use this top point as a reference so that it's centered. Same perspective as the other one here, same ratio. Alright, so if that's my carpet, now I want to make a VCT. So that is the checker pattern here. So let's go into edit type. I'm going to duplicate. And then let's go into our foreground pattern, and for this one I can see if it's under, it should be under model here. There we go, our 12-inch tile. And if you need to see what the pattern is too, you can go into your material here, go into edit type and your structure, and then in your VCT tile here, and you can check what the pattern is. So there we go. So in the surface pattern here, the foreground 12-inch tile. So that's the pattern that's being used for that material, and that is the same pattern that we're applying to the filled region. All right, so remember this is a material and this is a filled region, but you can use the same patterns for each of them. All right, so we just have one more here. Let's check what the wood is. Let's see what pattern is applied to this one here. All right, so we have the foreground 3-inch parallel. All right, so I'll double click out of that, double click into my graphic legend here. Select both of those, copy down. And then I'll go into my edit type, duplicate, create a new type, and let's go to 3-inch parallel. All right, so you want to use that same model or that same pattern, whether it's model or drafting, and then as long as your scale is set to the same scale as the view, those patterns are going to read the same in each view. And that is how you create a graphic legend. Now remember, these are just example instances. This might not be exactly what is in the project, but this is an example to teach you how to do it so you can apply it based on the patterns in the project.